Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor episode number 132 based on novel. So let's start. Damn it. Xiao Yan was slightly startled. Although the other members of the Dawning team were only in the middle stage of the 6-star Do D, with the auxiliary attacks of Guanglu and Anli, no matter who they attacked, the intensity of the attack made Xiao Yang have to guard against it. Captain, this kid's grudge seems to be. Tan Xiaoyang said slightly. Although he kept attacking Xiao Yang with the help of Anli, every attack could be resisted by Xiao Yang, as if the vindictive energy in Xiao Yang's body was not limited by this Luoling mountain and could not be used up at all. However, the few of them naturally could not have imagined that Xiao Yang's constant consumption of vindictive qi was recovered by Xiao Yang's swallowing the medicinal pill. Attack with all your strength, Guanglu said softly in his heart. Originally, Tan Xiaoyang thought that even if this Xiao Yang had the ability to reach the sky, he could only retreat in the face of their team. How could he have thought that this Xiao Yang was so powerful? Withered leaf palm. A hint of decisiveness flashed in Tan Xiaoyang's eyes, and then the dazzling vitality of life slowly condensed in the palm of his hand, and an aura of destruction permeated out. Xiao Yang takes the move. Tan Xiaoyang's figure moved instantaneously, and in a short time he came to Xiao Yang's side, and the palm of his hand with a terrifying strong wind was instantly photographed. Huangquan's finger. A cold hum came from Xiao Yang's mouth, and then 100 zhong-sized do qi suddenly swept away. Boom boom boom. The two just touched a little, and a terrifying fluctuation suddenly occurred. It's not over yet. When Tan Xiaoyang and Xiao Yang were fighting hard, Qianqiu on the side moved. I saw Qianqiu's emaciated figure instantly turned into a stream of light, roaring towards Xiao Yang. Meteor slash. Qianqiu's entire body turned into a stream of light, and his speed was extremely fast. In a blink of an eye, he came to Xiao Yang's side and slashed towards Xiao Yang. It's good to come. When Xiao Yang had just dealt with Tan Xiaoyang, he was already ready to deal with others, and when he saw the attack of Qianqiu, he couldn't help laughing slowly. Boom boom boom. Huangquan's finger was instantly retracted, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand flipped over instantly, directly using the ruler to smash Qianqiu directly. As the captain, Guanglu was not idle either. The dazzling energy of life continued to emerge from his body, and then he gathered towards the bodies of the four teammates. With the gathering of the power of Guanglusheng, Xiao Yang vaguely discovered that the strength of the three people he was dealing with in front of him had vaguely increased to the peak of the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, which was only a short distance away from the latter stage of the 6-star Do Emperor. A step far. It seems that there should be some secrets in this Guanglu and Anli. Xiao Yang continued to deal with Qianqiu and the others, but he quickly figured it out in his heart. I don't know why, Xiao Yang actually felt an unprecedented wave from Guanglu and Anli. This wave couldn't help but make Xiao Yang feel a little bit of fear. It's really a bit difficult to deal with. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth moved slightly, and then a familiar figure suddenly appeared. Two Xiao Yang. The other Xiao Yang just appeared, and the three Qianqiu, who were under attack, shrugged in disbelief. The substantive body condensed from the cultivation of the Emperor's mortal-level soul power. This Xiao Yang's avatar just appeared, and suddenly Anli, who was beside the light path, suddenly opened his mouth. Soul avatar? Seeing this, the terrifying offensive in his hands stopped slightly. Yes, it is the soul avatar. This soul avatar is the favorite method of some tyrannical pharmacists. After all, the strength of the two is the same, and the degree of cooperation between them is beyond that of most people. A trace of solemnity emerged in the dark crow's beautiful eyes. Obviously this Xiao Yang's strength is already in the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, and adding a teammate who is also in the late stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, and the direct cooperation between the two is not an exaggeration. It's been a long time. Xiao Yang, dressed in Xingyi, said to the white soul clone Xiao Yang that appeared from his soul realm. You're really a newborn calf and you're not afraid of tigers. Bai Xiaoyan saw the strength of the 5 people in front of him with just a glance. 3 6-star fighting emperors in the middle stage, 1 6-star fighting emperor in the late stage, and 1 6-star fighting emperor is complete. Such a terrifying lineup is probably enough to be called some small sects. Xiao Yang actually wanted to challenge by himself. Let's do it. It's been a long time since I had a happy battle. Xiao Yang nodded to him, and then spoke slightly, his voice full of fiery heat. Let these people see how powerful we are. After Bai Xiaoyan finished speaking, the same Emperor Yang's power instantly emerged around him, and in a short time, 2 Xiao Yang burst out with a shocking aura. Captain, what should we do now? The two powerhouses in the late stage of the 6-star Do D. Seeing this, Qianzhong opened his mouth slightly. It was obvious that Xiao Yang had already caused him a lot of pain, and now the two of them would be extremely difficult. Come back. I still miscalculated, but I didn't expect this kid to have such a huge soul power, and the soul power actually condenses the soul clone. This is the most unexpected. Guanglu said slowly, then looked at himself. Only beside her, Guanglu believes that no one in the team knows more about the power of the soul than her. The clone condensed by soul power is an excellent partner for direct combat, but the conditions for its birth are too harsh, and the soul power of the Emperor's mortal level is just the beginning. Dark Crow's eyes also had expectations. As a pharmacist, I am afraid that no one wants to use their soul power to condense a soul avatar that perfectly cooperates with themselves, because this can not only help their alchemist increase the success rate, but also play a great role in battle. Are you an alchemist? Dark Crow said slightly. En. Xiao Yang's mind moved and motioned for Xiao Yang, his white soul clone, to hold his troops, and then his eyes fell on Anli. Ming people don't speak secretly. I can see that you are quite smart. Why don't you join our team? Although our team is not the strongest among the 10 teams, it is still enough to rank in the top 3. Anli spoke slightly and threw an olive branch towards Xiao Yang. To join you guys? I'm not interested, but if you obediently hand me the wooden cards in your hands, maybe I'll consider letting you go. Xiao Yang said with a flat face, his voice extremely indifferent. Arrogant boy, you will regret it. Guanglu stopped Anli directly, and immediately said viciously. For some reason, Xiao Yang felt a chill in his heart when Guanglu finished saying those words. Don't hide it anymore, Tan Xiaoyang, the 3 of you will attack with all your strength. Anli, you cooperate with me. After Guanglu finished speaking, the speed of the 3 people's breaths suddenly soared, obviously planning to use their real strength. As for Guanglu and Anli, they hugged tightly in front of everyone's eyes, but Xiao Yang noticed that even so, the other 3 members of the Dawning team didn't show any meaning on their faces, as if they had become accustomed to it. Generally, what are these 2 trying to do? Xiao Yang's mind was moved, but he couldn't be busy with the 2 of them, so he and his soul clone attacked the 3 who were whistling away. Boom boom boom. In mid-air, terrifying fluctuations were slowly born. On one side is Xiao Yang, who is holding the ancient ruler of different fire, and on the other side is using Di Yang's soul avatar. Together, the 3 members of the Dawn team are strong. After all, they are only the strength of the middle stage of the 6-star Do Di, and there are not many breaths. Over time, the breath gradually weakened. Damn it, this Xiao Yang clearly has no life force. How come the strength of the late 6-star Do Emperor still makes me feel uneasy? Qianzhong thought to himself just as he stabilized his pace. Qianzhong's heart is bitter. Although he was only in the middle stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, he was born with divine power and was a power-type powerhouse. But how could he have imagined that Xiao Yang would be more violent than him in terms of strength alone? Just hold on, Captain, they should be done. As long as they display that thing, let alone the strength of these 2 Xiao Yang 6-star Do Emperor in the late stage, even if the real 6-star Do Emperor is consummated, I am afraid that only obediently accept your fate, after all, what the 2 of them cast. Tan Xiaoyang also kept retreating from the attacks of the 2 Xiao Yang, and immediately had to grit his teeth. As for Xiao Yang, he looked at Guanglu and Anli slightly, not knowing why the 2 of them just hugged each other, and then 2 forces of life with completely different natures slowly radiated from their bodies. What are these 2 doing? Xiao Yang was slightly surprised, obviously puzzled by the appearance of these 2. Although I don't know what's going on, these 2 make me feel a sense of unease, so we should fight quickly. Xiao Yang, the white soul clone, communicated with Xiao Yang's body. Yes. Xiao Yang nodded when he heard the words, and then the dazzling power of Emperor Yang appeared all over his body, and the figure shot out at the 3 of them. Boom boom boom. 2 Xiao Yang's terrifying attacks continued to land on the 3 of them, causing the 3 of them to be under great pressure. It's over. For the 2 Xiao Yang's high-intensity attacks, it only lasted for a few breaths, and the 3 people's breaths were floating, obviously being restrained by the Emperor Yang on Xiao Yang's body. The energy of life in the body trembled slightly. Let me come. The next moment, Xiao Yang took the initiative to summon the clone to one side, and then on the ancient ruler of the eternal fire in his hand, a scorching Emperor Flame waved to the extreme. Although this Emperor Flame is not comparable to the Holy Flame, it is still enough to be called the embryo of the Holy Flame. After all, this Emperor Flame is fused by 23 different fires on the Doqi continent. Damn, this Xiao Yang's strength is too terrifying. Tan Xiaoyang scolded secretly, his eyes flashed with a rare heaviness, and he clearly felt a dangerous fluctuation from the ancient ruler of eternal fire in Xiao Yang's hand. No, you have to persevere. Captain and the others are about to succeed. Chen Qiu and Chen Zhong looked at each other and said firmly, gather the strength of the three of us, but I want to see how powerful this Xiao Yang is. Tan Xiaoyang saw that the Chenjonga brothers did not flinch, and immediately the blood in his body burst out, and his eyes flashed with fire. Even when facing Xiao Yang, a powerful blow is also not afraid of it. Naturally, Xiao Yang noticed the actions of Tan Xiaoyang and the three of them, and couldn't help but be slightly surprised. Although he didn't know what Guanglu and Anli were doing, he must not be doing useless work. Take the call. This move is called Emperor Flame Explosion. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, a fiery wave suddenly erupted in his eyes, and then the ancient ruler of strange fire in his hand instantly lifted into the air, and an overwhelming Xeon aura instantly appeared. In this space, this fighting skill, I am afraid he learned from the Emperor Yang after the fusion. Seeing this, the soul avatar on the side couldn't help but have an answer in his heart. Obviously, this attacking fighting skill was the first time Xiao Yang used it. The dazzling flames instantly surrounded Xiao Yang's entire body. At this moment, Xiao Yang, the ancient ruler of strange fire above his head, had the aura of destroying everything, and Xiao Yang had the aura of a flame king on his body. Dominate the world. This terrifying aura just appeared, and immediately the three Tan Xiaoyang who were not far from Xiao Yang couldn't help but tensed. The terrifying attack alone made their hearts tremble. This attack, I am afraid half-life is gone. Run. Tan Xiaoyang was not a hesitant either. He immediately realized that this attack was definitely not something the three of them could take, so he exclaimed, that's too late. And behind us are the captain and the others, they can't retreat. Only hard. Chen Zhong turned his head and glanced at the light path and dark distance behind, and found that the vitality of life in the two people was vaguely fused together, and this fusion did not produce any trace. It's strange, like running clouds and flowing water, the rock of the giant rock. Firewall. Shu Muji. The three of them didn't care about hiding their strength, they could only exert their remaining vindictive energy with all their might, sending out their strongest defense so far, trying to resist Xiao Yang's terrifying blow. If you want to resist my attack, this level alone is not enough. Xiao Yang stood at a height below zero, looking down at all beings and said to the three of them, come here. The majestic voice slowly echoed here, and then turned into a shocking force that stared at the three of Tan Xiaoyang. Increase the power of life. Tan Xiaoyang gritted his teeth and immediately understood the horror of Xiao Yang's attack. The next moment, in front of the three of Tan Xiaoyang, the three regiments of life force with different strengths instantly filled out, turning into a dazzling defense to surround the entire Dawn team, but this dazzling defense was compared with Xiao Yang's flames, it's like heaven and earth. The fire is coming. Xiao Yang said slightly. The next moment, the surrounding space collapsed, and terrifying flames burned everywhere, and then poured into Xiao Yang's hand on the ancient ruler of strange fire. Emperor Flame Explosion. A cold snort crossed the sky, forming a dazzling mass of flames, attacking the three. The colors on the giant flame ruler are extremely gorgeous. There are as many as 23 kinds, even the powerhouses who have completed the 6-star Do D can't help but change their color. Boom boom boom. Di Yanbang's attack and Tan Xiaoyang's defense just touched, and suddenly made a very harsh sound. Sparks splashed, forming countless flame ripples floating around. Guanglu, Xiaoyang and the others. Anlamei's eyes at the back moved slightly, and Qianying moved slightly in Guanglu's embrace. Don't worry, let's continue to complete our business. Guanglu comforted softly, and then the dazzling vitality of the two continued to blend. After the blending, an indescribable wave of destruction was slowly born. This wave of destruction, compared to Xiao Yang's Emperor Yan Bureau, was even more powerful. It's just that under Di Yanbao's attack, the power born from the two Guanglu was concealed. Bastard. Tan Xiaoyang gritted his teeth and said, this Emperor Yangbang had just touched their defenses, and immediately made them look like they were facing a great enemy, and their expressions changed drastically. Cough, cough. I have to work hard. Qianzhong and Qianqiu, who were on the side, spurted out a mouthful of blood, and then their strength increased. If that's the case, then let's explode. Xiao Yang in the air was like a flame king. He opened his mouth slightly, and then the huge flame ruler above Tan Xiaoyang's defensive shield suddenly compressed, and then exploded in an instant. The name of Emperor Yang is well deserved. Boom boom boom. As soon as Xiao Yang's voice fell, this thousand space became extremely unstable, and the terrifying destructive power made this piece seem to collapse at any time. What's happening here? Such destructive fluctuations cannot be sent out like some simple characters. I don't know what team caused it. Do you need to go over and take a look? In one team, all 4 of them were covered in black clothes, showing no trace. Wasn't the one who spoke above the 5th senior brother of the Earth Palace, who was defeated by Xiao Yang, Wang Chen? Among them, the 2nd senior brother is the most powerful, except for the senior brother who goes out and travels outside the sect. However, there are some who are strong but not good at sociability. For example, Guanglu is one of them. No need to go, we have gathered the wooden signs now, let's go directly. A young voice slowly sounded from the front of the 4. Okay. Wang Chen heard the words, looked into the distance, and finally gave up the idea of seeing the past. After all, such a big thing happened, I must have alerted the elders who managed this competition. And taking a step back, their team is known as the team with the most hope of winning the first place this time, because their team not only has the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and senior brothers in Tandi Hall. Wang Chen himself, there is another mysterious person. This mysterious person is the one who spoke just now. The voice should be a woman, but looking at the respectful attitude of my 2nd senior brother, I am afraid that this woman's strength is much stronger than that of the 2nd senior brother. What's going on? In a quiet hut in the woods, Xiong Yuan had just returned from patrolling below. After all, when these disciples participated in the Red Nightmare mission, it was inevitable that there would be a danger, so Xiong Yuan couldn't be sloppy. Xiong Yuan had just sat down and was about to take a rest when the strong vibrations around him immediately shocked Xiong Yuan. Xiao Yang. The top of the ring flickered instantly, and a type of crystal appeared instantly, and then Xiong Yuan made a slight gesture with his palm, and immediately above the crystal ball, the scene of Xiao Yang and the dawning team battle came back. The flame on Xiao Yang's body is really not simple, such a terrifying power, although it is not comparable to the power of Holy Flame, but it is not too weak. This child should be a malleable talent. If this team competition has a conspicuous place, the sect competition in a few years will be fine. Xiong Yuan said with a wide-eyed smile. The next moment, Xiong Yuan's terrifying aura suddenly burst out, and then he stared at the crystal ball beside him. With the injection of Xiong Yuan's strange power, the shaking space of Luoling Mountain was stabilized. This kid, you really don't have the slightest sense in doing things. If you can't do it, I have to go. It's all to blame that old guy Mu Shuzi, who has recruited too many people. I'm the only one here. I'm really a bear commander, so I can only rely on me. As soon as the voice fell, Xiong Yuan's figure disappeared instantly and left immediately. To this forest cabin. That is. Xiao Yang's fluctuations. Mu Yingying and the others were still not far away from Xiao Yang's place. If they were just on their way, they would probably have some time. What a terrifying fluctuation. Mu Feng was slightly surprised at the back. Such a terrifying fluctuation, not to mention himself, I am afraid that other people would not be able to eat it and walk around. Speed up. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, she glanced at the back at will, and vaguely found that Ling Xian seemed to be at the end of the team, just because she was worried about Xiao Yang and didn't care too much. Boom boom boom. The terrifying fluctuations had spread for a short while. It's over, this is the first time I used this Emperor Flame explosion, and I didn't control the strength. The fluctuations are too big, and I'm afraid it will attract other powerhouses. Xiao Yang helplessly spread his hands. Your self-created fighting skills are very strong, and I am afraid its power is comparable to that of immortal-level fighting skills. Xiao Yang, the sole avatar on the side, as an outsider, had a panoramic view of all Xiao Yang's display of Emperor Yangbang. Hee. Xiao Yang naturally knew the horror of this fighting skill. After all, this fighting skill did not require a lot of time to integrate like the Lotus of Annihilation. However, despite this Emperor Yang burst, Xiao Yang also discovered that since he came to Dudi Continent, and after devouring Sheng Yan's body's abnormal fire and suppressing it into a new flame before adding it, the fusion of the abnormal fire can't be used. In the past, the fusion of the power of different fires could become a huge killer, but now the 23 kinds of different fires have become new Emperor Flames, so the fusion of Fire Lotus naturally cannot be used. The two Xiao Yang were still discussing in midair, and immediately below, the scorched earth filled with a thick burning smell. That Tan Xiaoyang had scars all over his body, and his body was burnt to varying degrees. Qian Zhong and Qian Qiu had already collapsed and were dying. Obviously, the injuries were too severe and they passed out. Good. Very good. Human Hall Xiao Yang. Tan Xiaoyang roared suddenly as if going crazy. Captain, please avenge the 3 of us. As soon as he finished speaking, Tan Xiaoyang suddenly fell down. Xiao Yang, hurt my 3 friends, take the trick. The next moment, as the 3 of Tan Xiaoyang fell down, Xiao Yang's eyes shifted to Guanglu. It's just that it doesn't matter. Xiao Yang's pupils shrank suddenly. How can it be? How can two completely different life forces be able to merge? A strong feeling of unease filled Xiao Yang's heart instantly. Dangerous. The soul-cloned Xiao Yang also felt an unprecedented terrifying aura from the yellow power on Guanglu's body. Guang, let them see how good we are. Anli's beautiful eyes flashed with tenderness, and she said to Guanglu with tenderness like water, "Okay, Xiao Yang, I'll show you this time. What is the real fighting skill?" Guanglu finished speaking. He just hugged Anli with both hands, and then the dazzling vitality of the two of them all radiated out, and then they fused together perfectly, and finally ascended into the sky. What kind of power is this? Xiao Yang looked at the power after the fusion of the two people with scattered eyes. Above this power, there was no fluctuation in attributes, but this was what made Xiao Yang feel a strong sense of unease. This, could it be the power of life fusion technique? Xinyan, who had been silent for a long time in Xiao Yang's body, suddenly said in shock, "Life force fusion technique. Skylight Curtain Road." Guanglu and Dark Crow opened their eyes instantly, and at the same time, an incomparably strong aura instantly emanated from the two of them, and then roared directly towards the mid-air where Xiao Yang was. Not good. It's too late to explain. Xiao Yang, run. The shock in Xinyan's heart hadn't disappeared, and she suddenly realized that something was wrong, and immediately exclaimed, "Boom, boom, boom." Before Xinyan's words could fall, the bright white light instantly enveloped Xiao Yang, and then the white soul cloned Xiao Yang was immediately taken back by Xiao Yang. The white light enveloped Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang seemed to have lost the ability to move, and was sluggish in the white light. The white light went from the two of Guanglu to the mid-air where Xiao Yang was, and then Xiao Yang was enveloped by this light and fell directly into the ground and became sluggish. Light, he should have fallen into our Skylight Curtain Road. Although it is extremely difficult to integrate this life force, we still succeeded. I am afraid that we are the number one existence in the entire Burning Incense Pavilion. Dark Crow buried his forehead in Guanglu's embrace, and said softly, "Don't worry, Li Li, after this sect competition is over, I will go back and get married with you." Guanglu's eyes seemed to have decided something, and he opened his mouth slightly. With the reassurance of the light path, Anli also nodded slightly, and then gently released the light path. "This Xiao Yang is bound by our life force fusion technique. I'm afraid he won't be able to wake up in a short time. After all, the two of us fusion technique is not a joke." Guanglu also loosened his shoulders and stared at the huge light curtain shrouded in the Skylight Curtain Road. At this time, during the battle, the figures of several thousand feet were instantly moved away by the light path, and Xiao Yang was shrouded in the entire Skylight Curtain Road. Xiao Yang's situation at this time is extremely bad. After all, when he first came into contact with the Skylight Curtain Road, an irresistible coercion came instantly. Just as Xiao Yang was about to leave and retreat, he discovered that there were places along the Skylight Curtain Road. Wherever I walked, the grass and trees were all ashes. A feeling of unease is even stronger. No, this goes on. Xiao Yang's eyes twitched slightly, and he really didn't think about the fusion technique of Light Path and Anli's life force. Emperor Yang, with a cold snort, the splendid Emperor Yang immediately appeared all over his body, and then his eyes were full of solemnity. Facing this Light Curtain Road, even Xiao Yang had to treat it with dignity. Light Road and only two people's life force fusion technology has just been born. It is like a snow-white color, straight from the front of the two, walking slowly, everywhere along the way, is full of boundless endless the strange smell. "Break it for me." Emperor Xiao Yang added his body to Yang, as if Emperor Yang had descended, with hot sparks flashing in his eyes. He suddenly opened his mouth, and a series of attacks in his hands suddenly attacked the Tianguang Curtain Road. Shabu shabu. The Tianguang Curtain Road attacked Xiao Yang so terribly, as if it didn't shake at all, and still attacked Xiao Yang relentlessly. Quiet. The skylight curtain covered the space where Xiao Yang was at the next moment. Xiao Yang only felt an indescribable pressure coming, and then the whole person became sluggish. Even the space around you has become illusory. Bastard, what is this? Xiao Yang was shocked when he saw this. This situation has never happened before. After being surprised for a while, Xiao Yang also recovered his calm. What is this place? Xiao Yang's first impression was this. Because in Xiao Yang's perception, this is a place without any power fluctuations. In a space that seems to exist like an insulator, here, Xiao Yang's strength is strong, and I am afraid that it is only the physical strength of a normal human being. As for fighting chi and soul strength, it seems that he can't use it at all. No need to struggle, this is our energy fusion technique, the Skylight Curtain Road. On the Skylight Curtain Road, unless your strength exceeds my level 2, you can't break free from this bondage. In this bondage, you will lose all your power, as if you have returned to the most primitive human beings. This is the horror of our Tianguang Curtain Road. Xiao Yang just realized that something was bad, and immediately Guanglu and Anli were separated. The figure slowly appeared in the different space shrouded by the Skylight Curtain Road. Damn, I didn't expect you two to have such a terrifying means, it's really a miscalculation. Xiao Yang was enveloped by the strange power of the Skylight Curtain Road, and found that it was indeed as the Light Road said, no matter how Xiao Yang tried to think of a way, after all, it can't be mobilized. The fighting spirit and soul power in the body seemed to be isolated by the mysterious power of this Tianguang Curtain Road. Originally, this thing was prepared for senior brother Didion, but I didn't expect it to be used on you today. But forget it, this is the end of the matter, let's make a move to decide the outcome. After Guanglu finished speaking, he suddenly rushed into the air, as if the two of them were not affected by this strange power at all. Xiao Yang, I have to say, you are very strong, but this is the end. Guanglu shouted in the sky, and the power of the 7th grade life was born in an instant, and the substantive power of white life contained extremely terrifying fluctuations. Guanglu was high and below zero, staring at Xiao Yang like a ruin. Seeing this, Xiao Yang naturally felt a sense of unease from this Guanglu body, but Xiao Yang did not panic, but the ancient ruler of strange fire on the palm of his hand was slightly controlled in the palm of his hand. Because at this time Xiao Yang had a bold idea in his heart. There is a lot of Emperor Yang's power remaining on this Yihuaheng ancient ruler. Even if Xiao Yang can't use his vindictive energy and soul power, he can still rely on the remaining Emperor's flame power on the Yihuaheng ancient ruler to activate once attack. It's just that this opportunity is only one time, so Xiao Yang must also seize it. In the dazzling white strange Skylight Curtain Road, Xiao Yang's figure is at the bottom, under the cover of this strange force, he can't move a bit. It was staring at Xiao Yang. I can feel that you are a very powerful alchemist, whose rank will definitely not be lower than mine, and your soul power is stronger than mine. How about it? Are you interested in joining my empire and his empire, so that you will have no worries in the future? There is a trace of fiery in Anli's beautiful eyes, and his fiancé Guanglu will definitely be the ruler of a country in the future. Yang is tantamount to adding an unlimited powerhouse in the future. At such an age, he possesses such terrifying soul power, and his future achievements may be limitless. Xiao Yang's head was covered in black lines light curtain. Guanglu's attack has been brewed, and immediately above that palm, the dazzling energy of life suddenly gathered, and then slammed down on Xiao Yang. An irresistible terrifying wave was born in an instant. Light, such a terrifying attack, will it be too? Guanglu's attack had just been shot, and suddenly the strange space shrouded in the fusion of their two life forces shook slightly. I always feel that this kid is not so simple. Let's take a look at it first, it really doesn't work and you have it. I'm very measured in my attacks. Guanglu shook his head and said, it's good to come. The terrifying attack was like a huge light curtain, blasting directly at Xiao Yang with a terrifying aura that destroyed everything. The 4th level of the 7-layered sky-shattering ruler, the sky-shattering ruler. Xiao Yang's illusory and drifting eyes suddenly burst into a violent strangeness, and then the strange fire eternal ancient ruler in his hand shook, making a pleasant vibration. Sky-shattering ruler. Xiao Yang snorted coldly, and immediately above the eternal fire eternal ruler, a splendid flame that was extremely dazzling was born in an instant, and the uncontrollable attack on Guanglu roared away. Even under the shroud of the strange power of this terrifying Skylight Curtain Road, it still carried the wave of destruction, viciously slammed into the huge attack of the Light Road. Boom boom boom. Terrifying fluctuations spread everywhere. As for other places, the figures of Xiong Yuan and Mu Yingying also came slowly. Boom boom boom. Terrifying fluctuations continued to be born, countless trees turned to ashes in an instant, and the land suddenly cracked. This Xiao Yang really lives up to its reputation. Guanglu looked at the huge dazzling shadow on Xiao Yang's body, and a dazed feeling was born in his heart. Since joining the Burning Incense Pavilion, very few people have caused this kind of situation in Guanglu. Light. Anli seemed to be worried about something, and then spoke slowly. Let's go first, someone is here. I just didn't expect that this Xiao Yang's strength is actually stronger than I thought. Guanglu glanced at Xiao Yang from a high altitude. Obviously extremely puzzled, there is nothing strange about this Xiao Yang, and he is deeply trapped in his own Skylight Curtain Road. How can he unleash such a terrifying blow? Go. The next moment, the light path skipped directly, took the 3,000 feet away, and disappeared directly here. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yang, who was trapped in the skylight curtain road, was not feeling very well. If he didn't have the power of holy flame to protect his body, I am afraid that the damage caused by the skylight curtain road to Xiao Yang would be even more terrifying. With the departure of Guanglu and the others, Xiao Yang fell down with a thud. This day's light curtain road is really terrifying. If there is no last resort of the Yihuaheng ancient ruler, I am afraid that I still have to use a lot of trump cards. Xiao Yang said weakly. The reason why Xiao Yang wanted to activate the 7th lead sky-shattering ruler and the 4th foot-shattering ruler at this time was that on the one hand, there was only one way at that time, and on the other hand, Xiao Yang wanted to try the power of this 4th level ruler. After this battle, Xiao Yang was obviously extremely satisfied. Not only did he learn the first 4 feet of the 7th layer of breaking the sky, but also the fighting chi in his body that had soared due to swallowing the holy flame became more solid. Gulu. Xiao Yang twisted the ring lightly, and high-level medicinal pills continued to emerge, and then they were swallowed by Xiao Yang as if they didn't want money. As the huge amount of medicinal pills turned into pure power and poured into the body, Xiao Yang's weak feeling disappeared instantly, replaced by a more abundant power. Hey, the Dawning Team's Guanglu and Anli actually use the power of life fusion technique, which is really beyond my expectations. Xiao Yang stood up slightly, and then said, "But what exactly is this life force fusion technique?" Xiao Yang said slightly in his heart. Obviously he was quite afraid of this kind of thing. If Xiao Yang didn't have the power in the ancient ruler of the eternal fire just now, it would probably cost a lot of energy. After all, the power of the skylight curtain road is really indescribable, making Xiao Yang hard to guard against. I didn't expect that in your burning incense valley, there would still be people emerging with the power of life fusion technique. Xin Yang's voice slowly said in Xiao Yang's heart. As for this so-called fusion of vitality, it is the perfect fusion of vitality in their bodies, which is a bit like the fusion of those flames in your body. But the difference is that yours is to remove the violent force in the flame and then fuse it together. The flame itself is like water and fire, and the two people's vitality is the same. After fusion, 1 + 1 = 2. That kind of power is far from your flame. Xinyan said slightly. So it is. Xiao Yang heard the words and suddenly realized that it was no wonder that the power of life fusion technique was still so secret. Be careful, someone is coming. Xinyan had just finished speaking, but there was no follow-up. You kid is really restless. I was just about to take a break when I was attracted by your battle. A scolding voice appeared slowly. Deputy Hall Master Xiong Yuan. Xiao Yang turned his head and smiled slightly. Obviously in the face of Xiong Yuan's naive appearance, he couldn't help but feel warm. You brats' fluctuations are really big enough. If I hadn't helped you stabilize the space here, I'm afraid you would have caused a lot of trouble. Xiong Yuan scolded Xiao Yang. Causing other troubles? This is a relic of the battle between the ghost world and Shen Tiantian. Could it be that there is a ghost world here? Xiao Yang was suddenly surprised. This is not the case. After all, the breath in the ghost world has been purified by many strong people here. Xiong Yuan explained. Okay, you kid, be careful not to cause any trouble, otherwise I will definitely not let you go. After Xiong Yuan finished speaking, Zaidu disappeared, as if he had gone elsewhere. The strength of the deputy hall master of this hall is really unfathomable. Xiao Yang looked at Xiong Yuan who was leaving, and couldn't help thinking. Obviously, with Xiao Yang's enormous soul power and spiritual power, neither Xiong Yuan's specific strength has been found. I am afraid that Xiong Yuan's strength has reached the level of an 8-star fighting emperor. Forget it, although I don't know why Guanglu and the others ran away, let's meet up with Mu Yingying and the others first. Xiao Yang was about to leave when he saw Mu Yingying running not far away. Xiao Yang. Mu Yingying called from a distance. I'm here. Xiao Yang naturally rejected Mu Yingying, and then the distance between several people kept shrinking, and several people finally gathered together. Xiao Yang, are you alright? Just now we saw a terrifying fluctuation in you from a long distance away, and the smell of the flame is very similar to yours, so I ran over uneasy. Mu Feng wondered. I just met a strong team here, but it's all right. Xiao Yang turned around to show everyone. How is it possible? That's the Dawn team. Guanglu, the captain of the Dawning team, has reached the level of 6-star duty consummation in addition to the fact that Guanglu and Anli have been married since childhood. When the two of them cooperate, even if it is our land senior brother Diener has to be treated seriously, how could you defeat their entire team with one person? Ling Xian's pretty face at the back was full of incredible emotions, and then she exclaimed slowly. It's not like defeating their entire team with my own strength. After all, The last means of light path and dark Li, even I almost got it. But the next time I meet them, it shouldn't be difficult for me to defeat their entire team by myself. Xiao Yang personally, an indescribable confidence emerged between his eyebrows. Humph. See, not everyone is like you. There is a reason why Xiao Yang can become the well-deserved #1 in our human palace. Also, Ling Xian, don't forget that when Xiao Yang joined the Fenxiang Pavilion, he couldn't help but kill the twin ghost emperors. At that time, his strength was only a 4-star fighting emperor. Now, 5 years later, Xiao Yang's strength has reached the late stage of the 6-star Do emperor. Whether there are other secrets and opportunities in this, let's not talk about it for the time being, just talk about you, look at you. If you don't have your father, I'm afraid you won't be able to achieve today's results. So, Mu Feng said incessantly, but when he was about to speak, Xiao Yang stopped him. Ling Xian, what are you cultivating for? Xiao Yang knew that it was not good for Ling Xian to persecute her like this, and immediately stared at her and asked slightly, what is the purpose of cultivation? Ling Xian's emotional heart suddenly calmed down, and then she kept echoing these words. This video will end here.